You want to do what's the Commish? Radio show. Radio show. I say, what's up, Commish? What's going on? It's probably Jam the Fashionista. Okay. And I'm Young Strip on there, man. Young Strip, nice. The Commish. Radio show. Radio show. It's the Commish. Tune in. I know you're gonna dig this.
Back again, Commish Radio Show for a lovely Monday. I know I got you all thrown off. You thought it was Saturday already. Tricked you. It's still Monday. You're having a good Monday, If you're not, well, guess what? You got 4 more days before you see the Commish back again on your Saturday viewing pleasure. But today is Monday, and in Commish land, this is the way it rolls out. This Monday Night Politics. Want to go ahead and send a special shout out to Miss Molly Belt in the Dallas Examiner. They're having Monday Night Politics down at the, they're going to be down at the African American Museum. April 30th, on the lineup is Lupe Valdez and Andrew White. I don't know if either of them will be in town, but hopefully it'll be a great event because, as you know, they're both running for governor. In the Congressional District 32 is Colin Allred and Lillian Salerno. They're in that runoff, and hey, they're going to be down there as well. And in State Rep 109, it's Deshandra Lockhart Jones running against the former mayor of DeSoto, Carl Sherman. That's going on. And last but not least, judicial candidate Bridget Whitmore is running against Judge Carl Ginsburg in the 193rd district. So we got that going on tonight. So if you're not going to be doing anything, well, you should be doing something. But this is what I want you to add to that long list of things to do. Go ahead and go down to the African American Museum. So we want you to go ahead and do that as well. We'd like to send a special shout out to Helping Us Help Her, which is sponsored by DeAndre and Gray. No relation, DeAndre and Gray. She's doing her walkathon. We're going to tell you more about that because the Commish Radio Show is one of the sponsors to that. And we wanted to go ahead and say hello to her. And we got some other exciting things coming up. Mesquite NAACP. We're having our installation banquet on May the 12th. So check that out, May 12th. Victoria Neve is going to be there as well. I'm going to be the keynote speaker, and also John Wiley Price will be there as well, and he will be given this occasion in which I say justice rises in the East like it rises anywhere else. It should start first from the East because that's where the sun comes up. That's where it should be in. So we have that coming up, and last but not least, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I know you remember the date Cinco de Mayo, but also remember the date Cinco de Mayo is election day. Municipal elections are going on right now. So we have that coming up, and it's just a matter of time before I know you'll all be standing in line waiting to vote. No, y'all won't be. Y'all not even going to go out and vote like that. That's why I got to beg and plead for you to go out and do it. Go out and vote. Too many people have suffered, have been denied the right to vote. For you to sit there on Facebook Live and just listen to me say this and not do a dang thing about it, You know, people are surprised coming up if I say that too many times, right? But that's what we have going on. But today, we have running for office today. I'm very glad that she is on our show. We have Sasha Moreno running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4-2. What's going on?
How's it going, Mr. Ray? Thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad to come speak to your listeners and just share a little bit more about myself and just about some of the things that I think our community really needs in the justice system.
I appreciate you for coming on the show. I've been looking at your campaign for quite some time, and you surprised a lot of people. You got into a runoff and everything. But first, tell the people about yourself.
So I am an attorney out here in Dallas. I currently practice immigration law, but I also have experience in foreclosure defense. And, you know, the past couple of years as an attorney, just unfortunately just keep seeing too many injustices in the system. You know, particularly right now with my immigration clients who were never properly advised of their legal rights, or who took a plea deal or had some other legal issue that came up that's now making them deportable. And I just felt so strongly this is a passion of mine. That's why I decided to go to law school all those over 10 years ago.
So all those over 10
and it was like,
you changed.
No.
That's what you sound. So.
I didn't mean it that way.
It's okay.
But so, you know, and I actually was at a student at the University of North Texas, so go Mean Green. You know, I actually went to school to study broadcast journalism, and it was an internship that I got where I was able to intern in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill that really changed my mindset. I didn't want to report on the news for my community. I thought that the best way for me to make a difference was to actually change the laws and policies. And so after that internship, while I was at UNT, I decided to go to law school and been doing that now for 7 years. And now I'm ready to kind of take that next step and help our community kind of get through the justice system.
Okay. Why'd you become a lawyer? Why?
Well, and so I think partly when that summer internship, I really felt strongly that it's great to report on what was going on, but the best way to make change was to get involved with the law, because even if I were to get into policy down the line, I had to know what the law was. And so as an attorney, I'm a big proponent. Obviously, we need to uphold the laws of our country, but you know, even through practice and my experience, it's not always so just for everyone. And I keep seeing that, especially in communities of color. And so for me, I just felt strongly in order to help my community is to give them someone who would at least give them a fair shot in the courtroom. And so I just strongly believe that while we need to uphold the laws of the country, we need to ensure that our community understands their rights, so that they're better prepared to represent themselves in the courtroom. And the JP courts is the people's court in Washington, and they don't have an attorney. And I think that's fine that they can represent themselves if they don't have the resources, but then you need someone to at least help them understand what's going on, so at least on the level playing field when they get into the courtroom.
So you flipped from being a journalism major at University of North Texas.
Yes.
It was University of North Texas, and you flipped from there and you went to Pepperdine?
Yes. So then I went to school out in Pepperdine.
For our listening audience, where's Pepperdine?
Pepperdine is in California. It's not a terrible city to be in. It's in Malibu.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is...
Which is better, Malibu or then?
Well, okay. I went to UNT a few weeks ago and have been about 8 years since I had been back. And it's just changed so much, because the funny thing is at Pepperdine, our classrooms are underground. There's no windows, and I think they do that on purpose so we can make sure that we concentrate.
You have to. You're in Malibu, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time,
you also didn't fall for that trick question where I said which one's better, Malibu or
well, you know, I obviously enjoyed my time in California, but the reason I came back to Texas is I knew that I wanted to be close to my family and friends, and this is where I was going to make a difference.
That's it. So before you went to UNT, where did you go to school at? High school?
So I'm originally from El Paso, and so I went to high school out there, Haynes High School, if anyone knows where that's at, because my mom worked in the school district, and so she worked in
How far is that from Eastwood?
Oh, Eastwood is just down the road, but those are big rivals.
Well, why do you think I say so?
Oh, okay.
See?
Okay. I know. You
See?
know.
Yeah. Anytime I go to El Paso, first place I normally go to El Paso, the State Line Barbecue, give me some
Yes.
State Line Barbecue.
Mhm.
So, you know, that I get off the airplane, get in my car, and then go to State Line Barbecue.
That even the bread is the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So El Paso,
Mhm.
went from El Paso, University of North Texas, then Pepperdine. Then what happened then?
Oh, well, so then when I actually moved to California for law school, my brother moved out here as well as my cousin. And then my sister recently moved back last year, or moved to the area last year. So it made sense when I was deciding to come back to Texas. You know, and I had a lot of my roots here from my UNT experience that I wanted to settle in Dallas because that's where my family was now coming out to. And that's why I've been here for the past 4 years, just trying to get myself immersed in this.
You just got here 4 years ago?
From law school, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Cool.
Well, tell me about the Latino Center for Leadership Development. Tell me about that.
So I was very blessed to have the opportunity to be a fellow for the Latino Center for Leadership Development last year. And so it's a great program. I was in the second year class, basically just to encourage young leaders in the community who are interested in running for office, just to kind of give them a toolkit and resources of, you know, if you're interested in running for office, this is what you would need. And so it was a great experience, and also met lots of amazing leaders in our community and other elected officials who were great mentors, especially in this process, since I'm the first time candidate. So I'm very grateful for that experience and the opportunities that it offered. So yeah, it's been very helpful because there's some days, you know, and I think even if you have, you know, I've done Annie's List trainings before to prepare me.
How was that?
They were great. I mean, I think it tells you, like, here's your guidebook, but I don't think until you're fully immersed into a campaign, you really fully understand what that means. And
So our people that are listening in, tell them what Annie's List is about.
so Annie's List is an organization that is helping young women decide, well, not young women, all women decide to run for office. And so it, you know, gives you information, whether it's how to budget, how to do your PR, how to block walk, how to talk to voters, messaging, things like that. And so they really want to try to get progressive women elected into these both local, state, national positions. So we can really try to make some change where we can.
Change seems to be in the air in Dallas, with a lot of women running for the judicial spots. I know you're not on the level where you're running for a district court or anything like that. What's your opinion about women running for office in general? Obviously, you're for it because you were there. Could you speak to that?
So I'm just excited. I mean, I've met so many women over the past, you know, year and a half who are just really passionate about the issues, and it's, for me, it's exciting just to see how supportive we've all been of each other, and just that we've actually been taking that one step to really forward to try to make a difference in our communities. I think, you know, in some of these trainings, like the Annie's List, you know, there's a lot of factors that sometimes play a role. Like, maybe is this the right time for me to run? Maybe it's not. Do you have family? Do you have to think about your career? You know, there's a lot of obstacles that I think sometimes prevent people. And I think before in the past, it has prevented a lot of women maybe from running. But now I feel like we feel more emboldened and empowered to really just like, okay, well, there's never going to be a perfect time. And so if I feel passionate and strongly about these issues, then I'm going to go for it now. And I think that's great to see. And that's kind of the position that I was in, where I just felt, you know, people said, oh, it's not your time, you're too young, you need to wait. But I just felt really strongly that I can make a difference in this way right now. And everything else would align in terms of where I was at from a family and support and career standpoint, that it made sense for me to take this leap now.
Well, either you wait your turn or you make your turn.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a turn. It's sort of like if you're playing basketball. When I was young, man, we had this game called Make It Take. You know, you make the basket, you take the ball out the next time. That's what it's about. In politics, it's a lot of it's about that. During this campaign, what have you found to be lessons learned?
Lessons learned. I mean, there's some small things like I wish I had maybe done a different mailer, things like small things like that. But the biggest in terms of lessons that have really impacted, you really get to learn a lot about yourself and your strength, because it's exhausting.
How many hours of sleep you get?
Right now, maybe 5, 6.
Okay.
And I would say that's probably been the same for the past year. And I think, again, every person has different
Compared to law school, what's harder?
This is more physically and emotionally challenging, I think, sometimes, because it can be discouraging sometimes when you're getting out there. And I've been block walking, I've been hailed on, I've been poured on. This weekend, if you met me at the door, I was like sweating profusely because I was there for 9 hours. I've done that for the past year every weekend, and so there's days when you're exhausted and like.
Yeah, you have to keep that smile.
Yeah, you keep that smile, and
because you don't want to meet knock on the door and say, I'm real, can you vote for me? I'm tired. Can't do that.
Well, and you need that motivation, because sometimes you're like, I would rather.
What's your greatest motivator?
The community, because I will say I'm sometimes a more reserved person, and so block walking, I was a little.
You be reserved. You're asking people to vote for it.
Well, so that's what I was like. I don't know if this is going to be for me, but we'll try. And I was a little intimidated about the block walking experience. I wasn't sure how I was going to do, but I love it. That's the best part, and that's why I think we continue to work hard at it, and that's one of our strengths is talking one-on-one to voters. I think most people have this misconception that everyone's going to be mean to you at the doors and you're trying to sell something, but when you're just asking people like, hey, hi, my name is Sasha, I just want to know, do you have any issues or concerns about the justice system? I want to talk to you about them. That people are very receptive. They appreciate that you're just wanting to get their opinion and input, and that's been the best part. I've had some amazing stories of voters. And there was this one woman, I knocked on the door and I was walking with my sister, and this woman answered, and at that time I was trying to get signatures for my petition to get on the ballot, and the woman answered, she said, yes, of course, I would love to sign your petition, hold on, let me get my mom. And so what we also had noticed when we got to the door that there was a ramp to the door, so she said, just give her a few minutes, it takes her a while. So we waited a few minutes, and we saw a few minutes later, this woman, she was in about her 80s, didn't have a leg, and was slowly in her wheelchair trying to get to the door. And she felt very independent and strong that she could do it on her own. And she just said, my daughter said that there was a young woman who was running for office, and it was a very cold day, and that she's like, if I had to crawl to this door to sign your petition, I was going to do it, because we need your generation to step up. And if this is my part in that process, I'm willing to do it. And it was a very profound experience that she felt so strongly. And so that's one moment on the campaign trail that I'll always take with me, regardless of what happens, because that's the motivation.
It's the motivation.
It's for them.
You absolutely need that when you get ready to campaign. And those are the people who get you moving.
Oh, definitely.
You go to all of these big fancy events and people shake your hand and everything, and half of them, they shaking your hand because they have to shake your hand. They don't really want to shake.
That's the politics.
Yeah, that's the politics. That's politics.
Yes,
that's true. But but then you have someone like you just said, just saying, look, I have to see you. I have to see you. That's the same reason why when people stand in line and want to talk to me about something, and I just say, hold on, I'm gonna get to you. Because if you think I'm that important enough that you want to, talk to me like this, then I'm going to go ahead and reciprocate on that.
Well, and the sad thing is, I would say more often than not, when I talk to people at the doors, they're like, you're the first person who's ever knocked on my door. I can't believe you, the candidate, are at my door. And I obviously, for me, they are very encouraged and excited to see someone at their door asking for their opinions and their input. As a candidate, I wish more candidates, and I know we are starting to and seeing a lot more of the candidates get out there and work, but I think there needs to be some change in that, because it's important to actually talk to the voters who are going to be voting for you.
Now, your Justice of the Peace race, give us the geographical boundaries of it.
So Precinct 4 includes Irving, Grand Prairie, Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Glen Heights, and Avila. And for some of those cities, because they are in two, like for instance, Grand Prairie is both in Tarrant County and Dallas, it's only the Dallas County portion.
Okay, so I have an opportunity to vote for it.
Yes, and hopefully I can earn your vote and support.
Okay. All right. So now, these cities that you just mentioned, it says 4-2. Is there a 4-1? Could you explain?
So there is 5 precincts in Dallas County, and there's 2 JPs in each precinct. And so 4-1 is another JP, and that courthouse is specifically in the Grand Prairie area. The one I'm running for is 4-2, which is the Irving courthouse.
Irving courthouse. So you have to go all around Irving and in Grand Prairie, and that's where you'll be housed at, Irving.
Yes, so the actual courtroom will be in Irving, but it does serve that whole southern sector of the county, which is a whole nother question that I have, that we don't have a courthouse in the southern sector, especially for like DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, and Hampton Villa. Kind of a trek, but technically that we would have jurisdiction, they would have to go to Irving.
Okay, all right. Now, your campaign, you've been running that for how many months now?
We have officially been moving forward since August.
August?
Yes.
So you out there when it was hot and then
Yes.
weather changes and everything?
Yes, so we started when it was really hot, then now it started getting, well, I felt like this winter was very cold and rainy. But luckily, I guess we didn't get any snow. I guess that's a good part. And then now it's still rainy, but at least it's not cold.
Okay, you're in a runoff right now. Obviously,
Yes.
you're in a runoff right now. And your opponent, I'm not going to ask you that because I ask everybody to come on the show to name their opponent, and they always have amnesia. They say, I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the spot. So since you're running for the spot and your opponent is running for the same spot, have you had any debates, anything? You guys going to be in Monday Night Politics? Not this week, but.
Yes, we are scheduled for May 7th. I'm not sure, the first time we had Monday Night Politics, my opponent did not appear, so.
No, really? Seriously?
Correct, so I don't know if he will appear on May 7th, but I will be there and I will have to talk to as many voters as I can.
Were you there at the last time? You guys
Yes.
had, you said your opponent didn't.
Correct.
Right, okay. And the sitting judge was Judge Katie Huber.
Yes, Judge Huber. So it's just Judge Huber and I.
Okay. So now, as you're getting into, and we're getting ready to take a break, as you're getting into this campaign, I want you to think about one of the things you want to go ahead and do to change, any plans that you have to change the JP position. Could you speak to that? And then we'll go to a break.
Well, I have a multitude, but I can give you one solution, but I have 4 things that I would really love to implement. But one of the main things that I've heard as I've been knocking on the doors is implementing night courts. A lot of our community members work traditional 8 to 5 hours, and so for them to have to take off time from work to go take care of the legal issue has become a problem for them. And sometimes people can't get the time off and they can get a default judgment against them. And so I think something as simple as extending the court hours, even if it's twice a month, to include some night court, a little bit after hours, maybe till 8, so that way they can go to the courtroom. I think will make a big difference because that helps ensure that they're not missing work, and that they can put food on the table or pay for rent and bills, so it won't become an issue for them.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back. I'm just going to play some music. I don't know what Jesse got in line for us over there. But Jesse, I know you got some music over there. Let's go ahead and play it for a couple of minutes. And then when we get back, we will talk to Sasha Moreno. And I'd like to say hello to Carolyn Morris, who's tuning in. Good luck to you in your race. And we also have, who else is online? Tony Morris, my man Tony Morris. Roxanne John is there. Gloria Pena. All right. Okay, how you doing, Gloria? Helped her get in office in Arlington, Texas. It's good to be back here in Arlington, Texas. So, all right, let's run a couple of drops and some music, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Janelle Gray, and whenever I'm back from Colombia, I'm listening to my daddy, the Commish, on the Commish radio show. Can you handle this?
Facebook. Don't cut us off. We own this. You're now listening to the sounds of Janelle Gray, my daughter Janelle Gray, live from Colombia, Bogota. All right. So pick up her CD, handle this.
It's your proud dad.
speak Spanish. Everyone in my family speaks Spanish.
How did you not learn how to speak Spanish?
I told them that they needed to speak Spanish to be marketable for it. It works.
You know, like a little bit. It's probably get around nice to you. I think you're probably playing coy about it.
All right, Jason, we're about to roll in. Baby said I give us about a minute and then they go back on. You still alive? Sasha's been on TV before. See, she knows when the camera's live. It's that thing, the dead.
Yeah, I was like, you never.
That's it. There's no such thing. Hello, Charlotte Williams. Casey Thomas, City Councilman, Dallas, Texas. Appreciate you for having me to do your DC for the 3rd District Honors. Council District Honors. Appreciate it. Looking forward to next year, 2018. Jim Robinson, how you doing? Michelle McGregor over in Fort Worth. Appreciate you for tuning in. Fort Worth, Aeon's Band, can you see? Well, they're going on tour, and we're also going to open up their tour in Fort Worth at the Austin Event Center. So, hey, check us out, Austin Event Center.
What up? It's your man, Young Strip, right out of Las Vegas. Mr. Behind the Scenes of America's Best Talk Radio, the Commish Radio Show with Ed Gray, the Commissioner, every Saturday, 3 to 5 Central Standard Time in the Greenville. Check us out.
Sasha, what do you think about that?
The song's good.
Yeah.
I was trying to be,
She's
keep in the beats.
Yeah, we are live on there. So you have to have that look like, you know, when the boxing matches, when they have someone that has the camera on them and they're just trying to be cool, but they know the camera's on.
I was
Look
feeling
around,
it.
and they look around like, yeah, I'm looking good. So that's it. So people are looking at you for leadership in the JP position. Beyond the night court, what influence?
So some of the other things I would really like to implement, one of the things that I've seen while I've been block walking as well is, and even just in my experience as an attorney, is again, a lot of people just don't understand their rights. And so if you can at least know what your rights are, you may have a better chance when you're going to the courtroom. And so I would like to implement some educational seminars, but also use some other tools and resources, whether that's creating some YouTube videos, you want to do some reading guides, because everyone learns differently. And not just in English and in Spanish, but Irving has a very diverse population, with very big Indian community, Sudanese, Pakistani, and so I want to make sure that all those tools and resources and the different mediums are available in as many languages as we can, because I think it's important that people, again, are aware of their rights and we have an equal playing field. Another thing that I'd really love to implement is I would love to create a mediation clinic. And so while I was at Pepperdine, I also received my master's in dispute resolution. And part of my program as a master's student is I had to mediate small claims courts. And so JPs have jurisdiction over small claims. And so as a master's student, I was required to try to settle about 50 cases that semester. And it was a great experience for me as a student. And from a budgetary standpoint, there was no budget for the courts because they were getting students and they were getting credit for it. But the benefit for the community members is that they could walk away with a legal binding settlement agreement instead of getting a judgment against them. And so a lot of people don't know the repercussions of a judgment. Some people are really, you see Judge Judy and you laugh at some of what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of this staged.
It is staged, but some of those are actual, like in terms of what the problems can be. People are fighting, well, you owe me $700 for rent. And, there's all staged and it's more theatrical, but those are still baseline issues that you're seeing. I was settling people were arguing for like $300. And I'm like, hey, would you be fine and you can walk away with $250 so you don't get.
That's the mediation for it.
Yes, the mediation. And you want to try to, as a mediator, you have the two parties and you're a neutral party. Just try to come to a settlement agreement about what what can people walk away with and be happy on both sides? And I think mediation is a great way anyways to do that, especially for civil claims. A lot of civil courts will try to settle out of court in many ways, but I think it's a great way for the community to benefit as well, so they don't get a judgment against them, which can hurt their credit, can affect whether they get their next apartment, things like that. And so there's lots of great law schools in the area. I think we can try to build a partnership with them. So the students get the experience and the community members also benefit with the legal binding settlement agreement.
So you did Pepperdine School of Law and mediation at the same time?
So it was a joint program. It's a master's in dispute resolution and a Juris Doctor at the same time. So I had to take summer school every summer, as well as do winter semesters and May semesters to make sure I graduated within the same 3 years. But it was actually to me more practical experience in your actual law degree, because we were again, clinic. I had that actual one-on-one interaction with clients. Like I said, most courtrooms are getting so backed up, their dockets are, that more often than not, they're getting sent to mediation, and they're mandated by the court to do that. So I decided it was going to be beneficial for my legal career.
Now, it's my understanding that you're the only attorney in this race, is that true?
Yes, I'm the only one who's graduated from law school and licensed to practice in the state, and so.
Do you have to be an attorney to be an attorney?
You don't have to be an attorney to be a JP, and I have nothing against non-attorneys. I just think our community will best benefit with someone who has that legal experience.
I saw your last flyer, your push card, where you said you was the only attorney. I said, wow. I said, you don't have to do that, but I said, well, I would say the same thing. I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, yeah, but you telling the truth, I'm the only one. Yeah.
Well, and again, that's nothing, like I said, nothing against non-attorneys. I just think we want someone who's, as a judge, who has that legal experience, education,
so
been in the courtroom.
I got it. So you're saying if you're going to be called a judge, you need to at least go to law school for it.
I personally.
Okay, don't say it. I said it. Don't say it. I said it. I don't want you to get in trouble, because you're going to see some lawyer and some judge and they say, I heard what you said on the Commish radio show. I didn't go out like that. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say it though. The campaign that's going on now. Has it been a rough campaign for you?
It has. I think most people really thought we were the underdog, that, I was too young, that it wasn't my time, they didn't know who I was. And I understand, people's concerns, but I don't think, I think once you get to know me, the reason why we got this far is because I'm a hard worker and I'm really passionate about this. Because if this was nothing to me, I wouldn't be out block walking, every Saturday and Sunday, hitting the doors and trying to go to as many events. And, I feel really strongly that I'm the best candidate for this position. I can bring some real change to the courtroom. And that's why you're going to continue to see me. And regardless of what happens in this race, I think this is just the beginning of me trying to really help our community. And I continue to do that. I don't want to do that in another way in capacity, but it's also up to God. We'll see.
It's true. It's true.
And the voters.
That's true. That's true. Now, when I went to bed that night, the election was really tight.
Yes.
Could you give us a rundown on that? I bet you probably know who got what and how many votes. You got into a runoff, but how many votes you get into?
The final count ended up being 102.
102?
Yes.
102 votes. So that's about the size of what? 3 classrooms in the city of Dallas, high school classrooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really goes to show that every vote counts.
Right. That's my point.
Yes.
If you didn't think it counted, you just 3 classrooms, that pretty well did.
Well, to me, that's great motivation right now, because, again, I've been doing this for, almost getting up to a year and a couple of months. And, when you're exhausted and you're tired, I'm like, no, every voter matters and every vote counts. And so when I would rather be sitting on my couch, and I'm like, nope, I got to get out, because every person you talk to, it makes a difference, because I just think it's important that, and that's another thing too, when I'm knocking on the doors, I think they appreciate, not just that I'm out there, but they're like, I've seen you 3 times in my block. Like, I admire your tenacity. This is your 4th time. They're like, okay, we're voting for you. Stop knocking on my door. But I'm like, I need to do this, because this is the type of judge, and I think it just shows them this is the type of judge I'm going to be. I'm not just, okay, I'm done with my hours, I'll see you later.
So you're going to be like one of those people's court judges?
I don't want to be like the crazy people court judge.
No,
But
I
you'll see
see.
me out in the community, making sure that, like I said, a lot of these policies that I would like to implement, it's, again, I can literally just do some basic judicial duties if elected, but I think I need to go above and beyond, and I think some of these changes can really make a difference.
Now, the other changes that you have on here, let's see, you say offer more accessibility to the court. Let's read them out. Offer more accessibility to the court with a night court schedule, which we covered. Providing legal tools and resources in various formats and languages to educate the community on the justice system. We covered that. Promote collaborative efforts with community members to resolve legal concerns. What does that mean?
So there's a lot of issues. Again, I know a judge, you have to remain unbiased and fair and balanced. And I think that's important. If elected, I plan to obviously uphold the judicial conduct. But at the same time too, I still feel passionate about our community. And so there's some issues such as evictions. There's an evictions docket. Unfortunately, I think there's too many evictions in this docket system. And, by the time you get to the courtroom, it's really too late at that point. There's not much from a legal standpoint that a judge can do. But that's why I think it's important.
So like when they repossess your car and they already got it hooked up, you can't do nothing with it now. It's like,
well, and so
you saying I got the money right now doesn't do you any good.
Correct. And so that's why, obviously as a judge, you have to abide by the laws and agree that you need to do that. But I also feel a more sense of responsibility to my community. If I'm seeing, is it financial resources that's an issue? Is it affordable housing that's becoming an issue that in our areas and I know affordable housing is a
You don't have affordable housing.
Well, exactly. And I sit on the board for Opportunity Dallas, which is a new nonprofit to bring in affordable housing policies. So I know it's affordable housing, but then that also affects education. We also don't have living minimum wages. So it's all tied together. And so I would love to try to build coalitions with different groups in the community to try to see how we can work together. So I can at least bring my expertise as a judge. Hey, I'm seeing this in the evictions docket, and this is the reason why I'm seeing people get evicted. Hey, nonprofit organization, what are you seeing? What are some solutions? Hello, city council, as you're trying to, build and bring in some economic development. How can we maybe help that? Bring better jobs so there's better wages so that way they can at least afford housing and then they don't get evicted. So I think it's a community effort. And so that's what I would like to just start really promoting, whether it's coalitions, partnerships, to kind of figure out some solutions. Like as a judge, I don't think, my goal is not to have more people in a courtroom. This isn't sales, I need to get more sales. No, I don't want people in my courtroom. That means something bad happened. And so if I can try to figure out ways to help people get out of the justice system, then I think I'm also doing my job.
Okay, let me ask you a question, not regarding the JP position, but regarding immigration. You were an immigration attorney.
Yes.
What do you think of President Trump's immigration policy?
I don't think we have enough time, and I don't think I'll be as professional. We'll get into that, but I think it's really disappointing and frustrating. Actually, even before I came here, I just found out I lost an appeal for a client.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to call his mom with the news that he's going to be deported in the next few days. She was obviously very upset.
So that's how your day went, your Monday went.
Yes. And then on the flip side, though, I also got a notice that one of my other clients just received her citizenship. And so, it's, as an immigration attorney, unfortunately, we have a lot of highs and lows. Probably more lows than anything, but I just enjoy at least trying to make a difference, and if I can help people in certain ways with their immigration matters, it's been a blessing. And for me, it's also personal. My dad was an immigrant, my grandparents were immigrants from Mexico. I grew up on the border, and so if I can try to make some difference right now, it's been a great blessing. But unfortunately, at this point in time, with President Trump, we're on the losing side, and until we get some comprehensive immigration reform, I don't foresee any of that changing.
All right. Now, as we go to a close,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know which camera should we look at. Yeah, you're looking at the right camera. I've just been looking at you. So you're good. Tell us why we should vote for you and when is election day, and we'll close out with that.
Okay. Well, I would really love to earn your support for the voters in Precinct 4. And again, Precinct 4 is Irving, Grand Prairie, Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hills, and Heights, and Ovilla. I'm asking for your vote, not just because of my legal experience, but I really feel passionate about helping our community get through the justice system. I don't want to see any more community members getting stuck and getting lost and getting legal consequences that they don't deserve. And I would love to try to help our community get through that together because I think it's a community effort. And so I hope I can earn your support. The runoff election is on May 22nd. Early voting is on May 14th through the 18th. And we're towards the end of the ballot, but hopefully you can, I believe there's only 12 of us, 12 races. And so I'd really love to earn your support. And so I hope you can vote for me.
All right. Jesse, sir, it looks like we're about to get out of town. They're going to run us out of town. But before they run us out of town, I'd like to go ahead and say again, get your tickets to the Mesquite installation NAACP so you can hear about how justice rises in the East. I'll be talking about, well, you know, some unjustifiable things that we've seen that happen out East, such as George Zimmerman in Forney, Texas. That's right. I know it's not Dallas County, but it's pretty damn close. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about that POW camp that was out there that held Japanese citizens during World War II. Didn't know about that, didn't you? I'm going to talk about that and a lot more. So justice rises in the East. All right, Jesse, play some music and we're out.
On the fishbowl for my social activism information so I can be a better agitator.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We're going to play this song. Kenya Crawford from Fort Worth, Texas. And we're going to play this and as you listen to this, pick up the CD. I'll be the master of ceremonies at the Austin Event Center coming up, so check it out.
For so long, I've been searching to find love that's been
So come with this with
all
the
the time.
Yeah.
And now I realize that my heart can't find, 'cause your love has me blind. Don't ever take your love away from me.
We only play local music, Facebook. We got this. My brother Arthur Crawford this morning, the producer of this. He says it's okay that we play it. So don't hurt him and his wife's feelings by taking it out. Here we go. May 29th, Austin Event Center, Fort Worth, Texas. Kenya Crawford, Aeon's Band. And we'll see you guys tomorrow where we'll have Mayor Kim Fitzpatrick running for judge in Terry County because it's all because of you. And we're here on the Commish Radio Show. See you guys later.